Disclaimer: No Self-Hate is a mental health awareness platform, not a licensed therapy provider or certified psychological organization. All content is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice or a substitute for professional mental health care. If you are in crisis or need immediate support, please contact a licensed mental health provider or call, text 988 for the Crisis Lifeline, US only. Some topics may include sensitive mental health themes. Viewer discretion is advised. This channel may include brief use of copyrighted material under Fair Use, U.S. Copyright Law, Section 107, for commentary, education, and discussion.
Hello, and welcome to No Self-Hate, Season 1, Episode 6, 4 or 5, What is Effective Communication? I'm your host, Kevin, and I will be your guide for today's episode. Oh, we got a real good one today. Today, we are going to have the opportunity to enhance our effective communication skills, which is slightly different from good communication. Good communication is more about compassion and empathy, but effective communication is about accuracy, conciseness, or concise communication. Okay, this is a very powerful tool that we're going to learn today. I can't wait to get to it, but before we get to it, I'll keep this short. I want to shout out to all of my supporters and my subscribers. We're doing it. We're at 900 plus subscribers. This is wonderful. I remember starting this channel, it was only 4 or 5, and this is wonderful. We haven't even been around a year, and that's 1,000 people potentially that we've touched with our information, with our mental health awareness, apparel and accessories. And we've had the opportunity now to reach 1,000 people, even more. A lot more people have seen our videos, but almost 1,000 people thought enough about this information to want to subscribe to it. And each one of you, I want to thank you. It is motivating, it is inspiring. I am growing and improving everywhere that I can. In the delivery of the videos, in the editing, in the hardware and software that I'm using to make the videos, and you all are definitely pushing me to do more. So keep it up. One thing that I'll ask is if you all can like this video, it could save me money on the back end for having to push it out. The more people and the more likes that we get, the more we'll get into the algorithm, and the more likely we'll be able to wake up and introduce some other people into No Self-Hate. So if you want to do that, please do that for me. If not, I definitely understand. But yes, today is excellent. I can't wait. So yeah, let's just dive right in. Talk to you in a bit. All right, everyone, let's get to it. You know what we do right here? I want you to relax. I want you to put yourself in a position of accountability. I want you to be prepared to stand in that mirror. I want you to put on your thinking cap. I want you to be able to apply this information that we're about to learn, because this is definitely one of the most powerful tools we've covered so far. Effective communication. So breathe. Let's do it. All right. All right, so what is effective communication? Effective communication is the GOAT of communication. It is efficient, it is concise, it is accurate, it is precise, it is the extreme in excellence when it comes to communication. And we'll break down exactly what that is, but I want you to think about effective communication and what that means to you. Some of you may be excellent communicators and may already have effective communication implemented in your lives. But some of us may need to work on it and try to catch up to you all. And again, just be better communicators. And that's the goal of this. We're going to come out of this episode probably some of the best communicators we've ever been before in our lives. All right. If we take this information, knowledge is useless if we don't apply it. But if we take this information and use it and apply it in our lives immediately, um, I'm pretty sure we're going to see results immediate results right away with your family, with work, with school, with yourself. Okay. All right. Now, before we go too deep into effective communication, let's define it. All right. So, the definition of effective communication is the act of conveying information, feelings, or intent so that the receiver not only hears and understands it, but also interprets it and responds in line with the sender's purpose. Right. So, that's clear. Conveying information, feelings, and intent so that the receiver not only hears and understands it, but also interprets it and responds in line with the sender's purpose. Said that twice, right? I want you all to understand that. This is us providing everything that is needed for successful delivery of information in one attempt, right? This is effective communication, right? It's judged by results. Did the exchange produce clarity, shared understanding, and the intended action or impact? Unlike good communication, which may stress politeness or empathy, effective communication is purpose driven and measured by outcomes. Again, I'll make a few mistakes. Um, Anti perfectionism. I will do my best to make sure that I minimize those mistakes for my perfectionists in the audience. But those of you who know, we're just striving for excellence. All right. This is a one take. We're going to do the best we can. All right. Next up. So now that we have a definition of effective communication, where we're saying that it's successful communication on the first attempt, right? Everything someone needs to be successful with the information that you're communicating with them. All right. Now let's look at some examples to help us get a deeper understanding of the definition of effective communication. In our everyday interactions, effective communication focuses on attaining clarity, fostering mutual understanding, and achieving the desired outcomes. Let's take a closer look at how this manifests in real life scenarios. All right, so in our first example, starting with the scenario many of us are familiar with, project deadline alignment. For my PMPs out there, project managers, you all are very familiar with this, or maybe you work somewhere where you run projects and you have deadlines and you got to get everything in a row. You could definitely relate to this example. So imagine a project manager during a team meeting saying, the client expects the final report by Friday at 3 p.m. To meet that, we need a polished draft by Wednesday noon. Alex, can you handle the data analysis by Tuesday? Jordan, will you be ready with the visuals by Wednesday morning? Please confirm so I know we're aligned. And did you hear that? See, a lot of people just heard me say, just read an example, okay? But for those of you who are excellent communicators or striving to be excellent communicators, did you know the conciseness in that? Did you hear how accurate and how complete that information was? Where the receivers of the information, they already knew the path that they needed to take. They didn't have any extra questions. Um, you know, the project manager could have said, hey, the client expects the final report by Friday at 3 p.m. Let me know what you all need to get it done. Right? Could have said that. And, maybe they could have interpreted that, but they probably would have came back with questions. Like, well, what time is there anything else you want me to do? Is there, when you don't communicate effectively, it leaves the door open for questions. It leaves the door open for people not following your information. All right. So why is this effective? First, clarity. The manager provides specific deadlines and tasks, leaving no room for confusion. Second, audience awareness. By directing tasks to specific individuals, the manager ensures everyone knows their role. Finally, there's a feedback loop. By asking for confirmation, the manager verifies alignment, promoting accountability. Episode 7, what is accountability? Can't wait. All right. But that's pretty much what it is. It's clear. People have specific instructions so everyone knows their role in the project. And then there's a feedback loop. Hey, do you all have any questions, any concerns, anything else you need to know to get these jobs done, right? That is effective communication. And that's what we're striving to do in our relationships, whether it's in the house you live in, whether it's, with a neighbor, with people you run into in the world, being able to effectively communicate your ideas and articulate your thoughts so that it's like someone standing in your mind with you as you're generating these thoughts. That is effective communication. All right. So this example illustrates how effective communication is not just about being polite or empathetic, but about ensuring team moves forward efficiently and without delays in that work example. Okay. All right. Next up, we have a personal example. Imagine this. One partner addresses the other after feeling ignored by saying, "When you scroll on your phone while I'm talking, I feel like I'm not being heard. Could you please put it down when we're having a conversation? I'll do the same for you going forward." You see that? There wasn't an attitude, "Oh, you're all on your phone while I'm trying to talk to you." There wasn't impulsive emotional reaction. It was clarity. It was identifying what the issue was, providing a solution for the issue, and agreeing to move forward and duplicate that solution on both sides of the spectrum, right? That is effective communication. There are a few reasons why this approach is effective. First, it provides clarity by explaining the specific behavior that is causing concern. Second, it shows emotional intelligence by starting with "I feel." It avoids placing blame and instead focuses on personal feelings. Lastly, it's solution focused. The partners suggest a mutual agreement, creating a space for change in a respectful manner. This promotes psychological safety, allowing both partners to feel valued and comfortable discussing improvements. All right. This example not only resolves the immediate issue, but also strengthens the relationship by fostering open, honest communication. You know, and sometimes people punish the truth. Sometimes when you tell people your true feelings and they don't agree with them, they can have reactions to it, right? But doing your best to maintain your tone, doing your best to state your position, doing your best to provide a solution, and doing your best to agree with that solution. That's what it's about. All right. Next up, we have a public example. Here we have an example of effective communication during an emergency, specifically a fire drill. See? The safety officer's message is a perfect blend of clarity and brevity. They use simple, direct instructions to ensure everyone understands what they need to do. Notice how the officer's language is accessible to all, avoiding jargon to make sure everyone, regardless of their background, can follow the instructions. This shows a keen awareness of their audience. All right. So as we look at this, it says, "Attention, everyone. Please remain calm. Leave your belongings and head to the nearest exit. Do not use the elevators. Walk quickly to the assembly point in the parking lot. The staff will guide you from there." You see that? It doesn't leave room for much error, right? People may say, "Hey, I didn't fully hear it," or, maybe, I didn't fully understand it. But that was simple information that even if said to a child, they would understand that information. Now, that's effective communication. When your communication can be understood across audiences, right? from children all the way up to senior citizens. When you can, on the first try, communicate that type of information with that accuracy, with that precision, the results are all mostly always going to be positive, right? So, what can we learn from that? We can learn that leveraging effective communication potentially could increase our success in our life, right? Where if I need someone to pick me up, I have to tell them, hey, I need you to pick me up for this reason. I'm at this address and I'm out front sitting on a bench, right? And that person receives that information and that person is able to come help you, right? That's effective communication on the first try. Instead of, hey, could you come pick me up? I'm at the L station. Yeah, the one on 95th, right? So someone gets there, hey man, where you at? I'm out here. I don't see you. Now because that communication was ineffective, it has now created the platform for more deliberation, more questions, more information is needed. So it's not that accurate. All right. So next up, notice how the officer's language is accessible to all, avoiding jargon to make sure everyone, regardless of their background, can follow the instructions. All right. Think about that when you're communicating. I want you to ask yourself, am I communicating in a way that is accessible to all? Am I getting straight to the point? We talked about BLUF in our previous episodes. Bottom line up front, right? BLUF. You want to lead with the most important information and make sure that you've thought about everything that a person may need to be successful. All right. Another critical aspect is the nonverbal alignment. By maintaining a calm and steady tone over the intercom, the safety officer helps reduce panic, ensuring people feel safe and guided during potential stressful situations. Right? Ultimately, the purpose-driven nature of the communication, keeping everyone safe, is a testament to its effectiveness. This is a powerful reminder of how clear, thoughtful communication can significantly impact safety and well-being. You see that? See how being able to communicate as a receiver and as a messenger, how important it is, how it could save your life. In a lot of organizations like the fire department, schools, they've had to master this effective communication for safety reasons, right? So that in the event there is ever an extreme situation or a dangerous situation, everyone understands, from the children all the way up to the teachers to the staff members, understand the instructions so that everyone can be safe. All right. Again, it's a public example of effective communication. All right. So we've covered the definition of effective communication. We looked at a few examples. Now, let's see, what are the benefits of effective communication? How can we incentivize ourselves to implement effective communication more often in our lives? Again, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is excellence and effort, right? Where we can get better and enhance our lives, we should. So, communication is huge. A lot of the problems that people experience in their lives come from miscommunications or communication breakdowns. And we talked about that in our last episode, what causes communication breakdowns or breakdowns in communication, however you want to phrase it. But we were able to explore where things go wrong. So now we're bringing it around, right? We know where the pitfalls are. Here's the elevation that we can use to get to the next level. All right. So let's take a look at the benefits. All right. So first off, let's take a look at the personal benefits. So effective communication reduces misunderstandings and drama in our personal relationships and our personal life. How? When you express your thoughts clearly, you can prevent unnecessary conflict, hurt feelings, and gossip. For example, instead of ghosting a friend, you say instead of ghosting a friend, you say, I'm at capacity right now. I'm not avoiding you, just taking a breather. Can we check in on Sunday? See, right there, that effective communication, instead of you ignoring that friend and that friend in their world starting to think that they did something to you, starting to think that you had an issue with them, you know, they could think that if you don't communicate what this in the example, what they communicated, right? So you have to understand how effective communication changes lives. It affects you and those that are around you, right? I think with that power, for me, I want to make sure that I am, again, putting people in the best position to be successful, whether that's in communication, whether that's in, doing something for me or something that I asked, and vice versa, right? Making sure that I'm there for them in that same way in my effective communication. All right, next up, builds it. The personal benefits of effective communication builds self-confidence and clarity. Articulating your thoughts clearly can enhance your sense of organization and self-assurance. For example, calmly and kindly state your boundaries, allowing you to feel strong without appearing aggressive. So expressing your boundaries with calm and kindness makes you feel strong without being aggressive, right? That control. Remember, we always want to keep our cool. You go back through all of the episodes in season 1 that we've been through. We learned about our triggers. We've learned about having empathy for those around us. But we want to make sure that we're always keeping our cool. When we're keeping our cool and not getting too emotional, we're leaving more room for logical thought. As long as we can present that information, that solution-oriented information in calm ways, normally it keeps everyone else calm. All right. Next up, it improves emotional regulation. Verbalizing your emotions help you process them rather than suppressing them. Now, let's stop there. I see this happen a lot where people suppress their emotions and it blows up later, right? So a good example of this is someone feels you've done something to them. And maybe this isn't a person that can easily present their ideas and present their feelings without feeling vulnerable, without feeling, in harm's way. But someone basically lets you know, hey, I got an issue with you, but they don't say it with words. They're ignoring you. They got an attitude. All of these things because they don't have the ways to articulate their emotions. Okay, so a successor to that, a position we could put ourselves in if we are like those people that can't express ourselves without feeling vulnerable, without telling our true feelings. What we can do is just effectively communicate. Say what your feelings are. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel scared. Don't feel vulnerable. If you're feeling something, be able to communicate that in a calm, honest way. And remember, from the beginning of this video, you want to just make sure it's concise. You want to make sure that when you're communicating your feelings, you are packaging everything in one package to the best of your ability on the first try, effectively making sure that the other person can hear you. All right. In this example, it gives, I felt dismissed when you didn't respond. Can we discuss this? Right. So instead of that person saying, oh man, they just played me, I feel silly. You know what? I'm not talking to that person anymore. No, they took those feelings, part of the emotional regulation, and said, you know what? Wait, I have to talk to this person about what happened. I need to let them know how I feel, and I want us to move towards a solution. Remember, in all of your relationships, when problems, hurdles, and issues pop up, you want to have a solution-oriented mindset. What is the solution to this disagreement? What is the solution to this confrontation? How do cooler heads prevail? And that's the goal, right? Because we want to enhance peace. We want to enhance happiness in our lives. And we can't do that if we're always upset. We can't do that if we can't emotionally regulate. And we can't do that if we can't communicate our feelings as they are in safe psychological safety, right? All right, social benefits. So let's think about how effective communication can truly enrich our relationships. Firstly, it deepens connections by building closeness, trust, and mutual understanding. For example, being honest about your needs in a relationship avoids resentment and games. Next, effective communication helps to reduce conflict and increase peace. Misunderstandings and assumptions often lead to unnecessary arguments. Okay? By using clear and respectful words like saying, I see your side, can I explain mine too? We can lower the temperature and keep conversations constructive. Lastly, it allows us to express love and appreciation more meaningfully. Simple phrases like I'm proud of you and I'm here for you can significantly uplift someone's day. So let's think about that. The social benefits. Being able to explain ourselves, being able to receive information in good ways, affects our friendships, dating, family, and community. This is why I was telling you all this is a very powerful tool. We have the opportunity to change our relationships, friendships, family for the better, right? It's going to take that effort and we have to strive for excellence. Applying this information is very important, all right? So remember, effective communication is not just about talking, it's about connecting. All right. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about where it says simple phrases like I'm proud of you and I'm here for you can significantly uplift someone's day. You don't know. I just was telling a young man, a young ambitious man, that I had a conversation with about the importance of being able to communicate to people when they do great things, right? You have to be able to do that. People, a lot of the times, your children, friends, in some way, they're looking for your approval. We have to, I think there's an opportunity for us to identify those moments better and give that approval more, especially if it's going to increase the peace and happiness of someone else. All right. Just think about it. All right. Next up, we got academic benefits. This is very important. So, where'd you go? All right. So, enhancing learning and comprehension. Effective communication enhances learning and comprehension. These are the academic benefits. Now, it boosts understanding, posing clear questions, and articulating your thoughts aids your brain in processing new information more effectively. So, the example says, I'm unsure about how this formula operates. Could you guide me through it? Right? Instead of saying, hey, I need help with this, right? Be able to articulate and effectively communicate exactly what it is that you think you need help with. That's very important. It can take you from a 2.5 to a 4.0 GPA if you're leveraging this type of communication better. I learned this in school as well. My biggest issue was trying to communicate what I didn't understand, right? So you have to find unique ways and cool ways to communicate what you don't understand. Hey, I don't understand this specific thing here. Can you tell me how all of this ties into it? Being able to articulate that you need help, not just in a general sense, but with some specificity on it, right? And I just took a big word. I took a chance. I hope hope it's all right. All right, so yeah, you want to be specific about exactly what you need help with, especially for our students in college, for people that are, thinking about going to get their master's degrees or doctor's degrees. Now, a lot of these people have mastered this art of communicating exactly what they need, but some of us still have some work to do. All right. Next up, it fosters collaboration in group projects. The ability to share ideas, actively listen, and provide constructive feedback contributes to smooth group dynamics. Next up, it prepares you for public speaking or writing essays. Developing strong writing and speaking skills begins with mastering clear and effective communication in everyday situations. And I butchered a word there, but again, it's striving for excellence. Perfection isn't the key. We're just trying to improve as we go along. All right. All right, next up, professional and work benefits. This is huge, right? You have an opportunity to increase productivity and efficiency. Clear communication minimizes delays on projects. If you're a project manager or if you are running, application, program management, or anything like that, clear communication minimizes delays, reduces errors, and eliminates unnecessary back and forth. For example, instead of saying, send that thing, specify, please send the marketing report to David by Friday at 3 p.m. Remember, when we communicate, the goal of effective communication across personal, professional, academics, relationships, we want to strive to provide everything that the person needs on the first attempt. That's what makes it efficient, and that's what makes it effective. Next up, it enhances leadership and influence. Great leaders excel in communication. They effectively motivate, instruct, and connect with their teams. For example, here's our goal. Here's why it matters. Let's divide the tasks and review our progress every Monday. All right. Next up, it builds trust and credibility. People tend to trust what they can understand. Consistent, clear, and honest communication fosters respect. For example, acknowledging a mistake promptly, I sent the wrong file, let me correct that, cultivates more trust than attempting to try to conceal it. Accountability. Episode 7. Can't wait. Right? Effective communication is being able to be accountable. Okay? Next up, emotional intelligence benefits. And this is the main reason we're here. This is the benefit that we want. I think we all could benefit from this. Now, again, there are those special cases that have all their stuff together. They're doing well. They're constantly educating themselves on emotional intelligence. But for the majority, emotional intelligence benefits are huge. All right. So it enhances your understanding of others. By actively listening and communicating clearly, you start to grasp what others are truly expressing, often beyond their spoken words. You are able to put yourself in their shoes and see exactly what they are sharing with you, right? When you have these active listening skills, when you have the empathy, when you have the compassion, you can listen to others better. For example, you mentioned you're fine, but your tone sounded different. Would you like to talk, right? Just being able to feel the energy of the person around you. Some people call it empaths, right? An empath is a person that can put themselves in other people's shoes and actually feel it, whatever they're feeling, like in real time, almost at the same level. Okay. So that's an example of emotional intelligence. The emotional intelligence benefits of helping you understand others. Next up, it cultivates empathy and compassion. When you listen genuinely and speak with kindness, individuals feel acknowledged and valued. This is the foundation for compassion to flourish. Okay. Last but not least, it promotes accountability and maturity. Skilled communicators own their words and actions, avoid blame or withdrawal. For example, I didn't manage that situation well. I will strive to be more patient moving forward. See the accountability. I didn't manage the situation well. The solution oriented goal. I will strive to be more patient going forward. All right. We have gotten to the meat and potatoes of this episode, which is what can we implement to ensure that we are effectively communicating? How can we ensure that we are giving our best effort? Again, we're not looking to be perfect, but giving our best effort and striving for excellence in our effective communication. What are the requirements for effective communications? What do I have to do to qualify for a person that effectively communicates? Let's check it out. We got our top 10 here. All right, first up, clarity. If they can't understand it, it's not effective. So what it means, your message should be straightforward, avoiding confusion, slang, sarcasm, or inside jokes. The clarity components use simple words, maintain clear sentence structure, present one idea at a time. That is huge. A lot of us, including myself, including me, can jump across ideas whenever I'm communicating. But we are communicating effectively when we could focus on one thing at a time, right? A lot of people use a manipulation tactic where they try to muddy the water with a bunch of ideas whenever you're communicating with them about different subjects. Try to avoid that. Do your best to stay focused on one thing at a time. Once you get that thing taken care of, move on to the next. All right. Next up, steer clear of vague language. How to use. This is how you use clarity in effective communication. Utilize this approach when you want someone to grasp your message immediately without any guesswork. Remember that first attempt, we're clear. No guesswork for this person. I gave them everything they needed to understand the message that I was trying to communicate to them in non-vague terms, one idea at a time, and using simple words. All right. So the example here is, hey, let's meet at the library at 3 p.m. to study for the test. That is very clear. All right. A bad example of clarity is, you know where to find me. You know, you're putting me on a send-off mission. So I got to meet you at the library. You say, I know where to find you. There's 100 places in the library, you know, that could have me walking around the library looking for you all day, right? That's why it's important to be clear and have clarity in your communication. Next up, completeness. Include everything the other person needs to know. We talked about this. So what it means, your message should contain all the necessary information the recipient needs. I definitely don't do that all of the time when I'm communicating, right? Because you have to stop. You got to think, okay, what does this person need? So I may tell my child, hey, go get my drill, right? I could say that, hey, go get my drill. And they're like, well, where is it? It's somewhere around here. Go find it, right? That's communication. I need my drill, but I'm not really setting the person up for success, right? Whereas I can say, hey, can you go get my drill? It's downstairs in the basement, in the workshop, in the top cabinet, right? Completeness, forming a path for that person to follow that they will be successful with. All right. So the components of completeness: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Background or context. Expected actions. If you expect someone to do something. No missing details to the best of your ability. Again, perfection is not the key. Effort and growth. We will grow as long as we apply this and continue to practice it in repetition. It will become part of us, okay, over time. right? How to use completeness. Utilize this principle when providing instructions, making plans, or requesting something, right? For example, we'll be celebrating the birthday dinner at Olive Garden at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. If possible, please bring a small gift. Make sure to include everything the other person needs to know, right? Now, even here, you could have went even further. You could have said, we'll be celebrating the birthday dinner at Olive Garden at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. The Olive Garden in whatever street, right? You could lead them even more where they won't have any questions. And again, and that's the goal. That's going to free up time for us. The person's going to arrive successfully. Success makes everyone happy, right? Makes everyone happy. So that's what we want to shoot for. All right, next up, conciseness. Say it in fewer words, but don't cut the meaning. So this basically means you get to the point, no rambling, fluff, or repetition. No repetition, right? Conciseness means delivering your message clearly and directly without unnecessary words, repetition, or fluff. I used to do that. I still do that sometime. But again, this episode is helping me because even in this episode, I changed how much information I was putting in here. I knew a lot of this. I was able to identify through self-reflection that when communicating the episodes for No Self-Hate, there is a better way, a more complete way, a more clear way, a more concise way to convey this information to you without all of the jargon, right? So I've been real lean on the information as we go through it, trying to stick to the script as much as I can, but also making sure that I deliver the message and the information that we need, right? I'm already implementing this in my life, and it's already changing things. I feel more confident. I feel you all understand me and you all are following me better. I feel like using simple terms here and there, or mostly, that we're reaching a broader audience that are able to follow us and listen to the things that we're talking about. Okay? Over here at No Self-Hate. All right? So the key components. Come on. All right, so the key components: short sentences, relevant details only, avoiding redundancy, organized thoughts. When to apply. Use conciseness when your audience is busy, distracted, or when you're conveying a quick message. You guys are busy, right? You guys are on a train, or you're on your commute. My goal for me is to make No Self-Hate leaner and more effective in the communication. How will you use effective communication going forward? Do you see opportunities for growth when it comes to effective communication? All right, the examples here. I'm running 15 minutes late. I'll arrive by 6:45. Express it in fewer words, but keep the meaning intact. All right. Next up, be specific, not general. Concreteness. Be specific. What it means: concreteness involves using tangible examples, facts, names, and specific times instead of vague terms like sometime, a lot, or you always. All right. Components: real names and dates, specific numbers or amounts, clear examples that enhance understanding. How to use: utilize this approach when you want others to take you seriously or to clearly grasp what occurred. All right. Be specific. For example, I called you 3 times yesterday at 2:15, 2:30, and 3 o'clock. And the wrong way to communicate this is you never answer your phone, right? Instead of me saying you never answer your phone, I give you why I've come to this conclusion. You've never answer your phone could be an exaggeration, because the person, when you say never, does that mean they never do it? But we do that, humans, we do that. We exaggerate. I don't know. I think we do it to get our points across better and maybe leverage more leverages when we do that, where we give this generalization of things. But do your best to be specific. If you're being concrete with your messages and your communication, you're moving towards being a more effective communicator. All right, next up, correctness. Say what's true, spell it right. Now, this could apply to written communication. If you go back to our first episode of communication, it breaks down all of the types of communication for you. But I think this one may be geared towards written communication. All right, so what it means: your communication is precise, free of spelling errors, and grammatically sound to the best of your ability. Now, we're all from different cultures. Some of us have multiple, we know multiple languages. Some of us may speak Spanish, English, or, something else, French, right? And being able to be grammatically sound to the best of our ability so that we are effective communicators, no matter what our background is what correctness is, right? Striving for that. Educating yourself where you find gaps, where you find areas that could be improved, all right? The components of correctness is no typos or incorrect word usage to the best of your ability. If you struggle with grammar, there are a lot of tools out here. I don't want to give anyone any plugs, but there are a lot of AI tools out here that could assist you with your grammar, okay? And whenever you're using these tools, don't just use them to do the work for you. Learn and make less mistakes over time. And the AI will teach you the grammar that you need if you pay attention, all right? Next up, how to use. Whenever you wish to be taken seriously, whether in text messages, resumes, applications, or social media. For example, your versus your. Using the correct form demonstrates your attention to detail and how you wish to be perceived. Okay? This is important for written communication. All right? Again, no one's perfect. Accidents happen. Typos happen. But proofread, and proofread. All right? Sometimes when I send messages out to the organization that I, work for, sometimes I'll write a message one day, a communication, and then I'll read it 2 or 3 times, and then I'll wait like 6 hours later and read it again and just make sure that it's clear, it's communicating the idea that I want, and it's error free, right? All right, next up, consideration. Think about the other person before you speak. This is huge. We have to be more considerate of each other in our communication. That empathy, that compassion. All right. So what it means, this principle encourages you to tailor your communication based on your audience and their potential feelings. The components: understand your audience, adjust your tone, neither too harsh nor too soft, avoid making assumptions, only work with facts to the best of your ability, and be mindful of emotions, age, culture, and context. Just look out for your fellow human. You know, people are going through a lot in the world. Not everybody's going to have the perfect mindset or an excellent mindset. Not everyone has watched No Self Hate and been on this journey with us as we improve ourselves. Some of them are still where we used to be, and they're trying to find their way out. We must always have empathy for that. We must always have compassion for them, right? That's that consideration. What is this other person going through, right? So how to use this: apply this when engaging with children, seniors, strangers, or individuals facing challenging situations. For example, I realize this may be difficult to hear, but I want to be honest with you, right? thinking about how what you're about to say may make this person feel. You still need to communicate it, but you kind of give them a disclaimer or a warning or a notification that, hey, this thing I'm about to say may make you feel some type of way. I'm aware of who you are and how you feel about things. And this, what I'm about to say may make you feel some type of way. So consideration. Next up, courtesy. Huge. Respect goes a long way. What it means, you express yourself with kindness, politeness, and respect, even when you have differing opinions. This has gotten me through a lot of doors in life. Kindness, politeness, and respect, even when you have differing opinions. It's nothing like someone that shows the courtesy, professional courtesy, or, just courtesy to think about another person. It just makes you feel some type of way when someone does that for you, right? Courtesy is very important. So the components of courtesy is use polite phrases. Please, thank you, I appreciate you. You should be saying this every day of your life, right? Not taking the people in our lives for granted. We have to be grateful for the people that are in our lives, the people that have been assigned to us. And sometimes they're not always doing the right thing, and sometimes they're not always perfect or excellent at times. But being able to still say, please, thank you, I appreciate you, I love you, I miss you, you did great. I saw that you recently graduated. I saw, you got an A on your test, on your paper. Heard you got a promotion. Congratulations. All of this is a part of courtesy. It's acknowledging people, right? When they do something for you or when they do something great. All right. So avoid negative behaviors, no yelling, blaming, or sarcasm. Yikes. We learned sarcasm is a cousin of anger, right? So maintain a kind tone, offer constructive criticism, focus on improvement, not insults. Solution-oriented mindsets. Any argument you get in going forward, if you focus on solutions, you don't waste time in the emotional landfill of expressing failure. Try your best not to express, oh, you did this to me. Oh, this happened. Oh, man, I thought you were. Nope. Oh, man, this thing happened. How do we move forward from this? What options can we give ourselves? Because I value you. I don't want to lose you. I want you to still be a part of my life. I hope you still value me. What solutions can we give each other to move past this? And you go down no self-hate, forgiveness IQ, morality IQ, resolving trauma, anger. What is anger? What is self-hate? Just go down the line and it'll guide you. All right. Next up, this principle applies at all times, but is particularly crucial during disagreements, conflicts, or when seeking assistance. So courtesy applies at all times. All times. Make sure you're doing your best to be courteous. It gets difficult when you get triggered, but I believe in you. I believe in me. We could lock in and stay courteous. I say please, thank you, and I appreciate you every day of my life. And I love you to my family, right? And to myself as well. I look in that mirror and say, I love you. Go out there today and do something to show yourself that you love you. Do something for you today, right? The example here is, I understand your perspective. May I share my viewpoint? Being courteous. Hey, I heard what you said. I can understand how you got to that position. However, I have a different perspective. Is it okay if I share that with you? Right? This is just excellent communication. Right. Next up, we got BLUF, bottom line up front. We talked about that. Say the most important part first. Okay. What it means. You should start with your main point, particularly when the message is lengthy or time sensitive. The components, what do you need? When do you need it? Why is it important? Okay, this is giving me professional vibes in written communication, right? How to utilize this approach when texting, emailing, or conversing with someone who is busy or distracted. I need a ride to the airport at 10 a.m. Can you assist? Is the example. Bottom line up front. I need a ride to the airport at 10 a.m. Now, hey, can you help me out with something real quick? I need a ride to the airport at 10 a.m. Do you think you can help me out with that? Right? Effective communication. Next up, feedback loop. This is very important. You check that the other person understood what you meant and you understood them, right? This involves verifying that the other person comprehended your message while also confirming your understanding of their perspective. The components is request confirmation, ask them to paraphrase, invite questions, observe body language cues. How to use this skill or this component of effective communication. Implement this technique during crucial discussions, planning sessions, or when giving instructions. Just to clarify, you'll be picking me up at 7:30 p.m., correct? Verifying. Feedback loop. Closing that loop. Don't just throw information out there. Throw information out there and ask if they understand. Is there anything you need to explain? If you notice a little hesitancy in them where they say, yeah, I think I got it, we know we got to go back in and explain some more, right? Making sure we get that feedback loop, that confirmation that the person has received the message that we were trying to deliver. All right. Next up, choosing the right channel. Some things are better said in person. This is important as well. You choose the best way to communicate: text, call, video, in person, or written based on the situation. All right. So components of this is text for short, casual things, phone call for emotions or quick back and forth. Because let's pause there. A lot of us are using text messages for emotions and quick back and forths, right? When you send a text message, it doesn't necessarily convey emotion unless you're putting emoticons in there. But it doesn't necessarily convey exactly how you feel. It doesn't communicate tone. It doesn't communicate, heightened concerns, right? That's something that we want to do in person. If it's something emotional, you should want to do that in person or over the phone. Now, in person for serious or sensitive topics. Written for records or big details when you want to maintain records. How to use when deciding how to deliver a message, not just what to say. Okay? Choosing the right channel. That is very important. All right? For example, breakups, not by text. I'm running 10 minutes late. Text is perfect. Breakups, we might want to be accountable and have the courage to have that conversation in person. If not, at least at the minimum over the phone. Right? Next up, we have our summary. Wow, we got through that. That was pretty cool. All right, so we went over the requirements, the top 10 requirements for us to be able to communicate more effectively. If you need to watch this video a few times to get it, please do. If you were taking notes, that was great as well. You'll be able to reflect on your notes. But I challenge you all to take this information we learned today and apply it. Let's just do some test trials. Apply it in your life. Tell me what the results are. Share with us. Let us know. Right? So, just a quick effective communication summary. What is effective communication? Effective communication is, it refers to the clear, respectful, and purposeful sharing of information that fosters understanding, trust, and action. It is the foundation for how we connect with others, resolve conflicts, express our thoughts, and cultivate strong relationships in our everyday lives. Next up, we got our 10 requirements of effective communication. We talked about clarity, completeness, conciseness, concreteness, correctness, consideration, courtesy, bluff, feedback loop, and right channel. Then last but not least, we talked about the benefits of effective communication. Builds trust, reduces drama, it helps resolve conflict, strengthens personal, social, academic, and professional relationships, increases emotional intelligence, empathy, and self-awareness, makes it easier to express needs, give feedback, and avoid misunderstandings. All right, everyone. Elevate your mental health awareness with our apparel and accessories. At No Self Hate, we provide impactful content and valuable resources aimed at educating, uplifting, and empowering individuals, from guest speaking events to newly added perspective sessions. We are rolling out sessions where you can have a conversation with me, and I can offer my perspective in what I think, right? Again, I'm just another human observing the world and having the world observe me. But I may be able to offer information that could be valuable, or maybe you can offer me some information that could help me. But yeah, we're starting to set that up as well. We are committed to supporting your journey of continuous growth in emotional development, one step at a time. Visit us at NOSELFHATE.com. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, your energy. Remember, work on your effective communication at work, at school, at home, with yourself. Work on it. All right. You have the building blocks. Apply them, put some effort, strive for excellence, and you'll be great. Until then, I am signing off. Like, subscribe, share, comment, continue to grow with me. Thank you, and I'll see you on our next episode.